Hello everybody, it's Kevin here, welcoming you to another episode of Radio Redux. I am joined by Urtheart.
Yarg.
The friendship that keeps on giving for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Man, are these two companies like really, really happy with their tie-up? Capcom with Mega Man soon. As extra DLC. But, man alive, that Capcom team up, how much has that given us now? Again, both sides.
Mm.
They honestly, those guys, those two companies love working together.
I wonder if we will see something reciprocated in the new Mega Man game that's coming out in next year.
It's pretty freaking likely. I'm
True.
totally honest with you. But we had Pac-Man go both ways. We had other stuff. We had the fact that the social teams were, referencing the comics tie-up.
Well, remember, what was it?
Everything that was going on.
Sonic Frontiers had that Monster Hunter crossover, and Monster Hunter
that's
had
the other one.
The reverse. Although, interestingly, the Monster Hunter one, the Sonic stuff's no longer available in there.
Well, that's just a licensing thing, isn't it? I suspect.
Yeah, but that still seems a bit pants.
Yeah, but who knows? But that's a pretty, like I say, for two companies to keep going back to the well and going, yeah, let's do stuff. I can do stuff for you and you can do stuff for me. And they're both of them just both sides going, yeah, that's great, and being really happy afterwards. That's a big thing in the video game industry.
And to be fair, like a lot of, I've seen, because I know a few Mega Man fans who have been, some of them got the game purely for this crossover.
Yeah.
But like they've been listening to the tracks that have come out from it, and they're just like, wow, this is so much love. Why can't Capcom put this much love into their own games?
Well, that was the thing that people said about Smash, wasn't it? With Mega Man.
Yeah.
It's like, this looks amazing. But the reverence that SEGA have shown Mega Man and Pac-Man, and the reverence that Capcom has shown Sonic, there's a deep mutual respect there between SEGA and Capcom, which I don't think until like the last year we really understood, and perhaps still don't.
No,
to
but
how
to be
deep
fair,
that goes.
Capcom are quite known for this because, let's take other examples. A recent example being their crossover with Phoenix Wright and Among Us, which they
went back to the well on that, didn't they? Because that was the first Phoenix Wright one was an old one. That was quite an old team up, and then somebody basically went, "Oh, you kind of need the." I don't know who was missing. I guess it was.
I don't remember, but yeah, like they've done it recently, and it's been a massive success for both sides.
Yeah,
and Capcom did a stream of Among Us on their channel, which is like normally
that's like wow.
Yeah, exactly. And
I've only known one other company to stream games that aren't theirs, and that's honestly Rebellion.
Yeah,
of the Rebellion, present company, obviously, but Rebellion is the only major. And I would say Rebellion is a major publisher.
I think Sega have done on theirs for charity, especially have done. Others.
That's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, but it's still. And if it's for charity, you can.
And there was definitely some kind of tie-in.
Yeah, there was, but again,
it wasn't
with
like
a lot of them.
It wasn't like they suddenly went, "Oh yeah, we're doing Rocket League prior." This is prior to the Sega Sonic tie-up in Rocket League. Wasn't it? It's like suddenly did that
because. They do a lot of for Pride Month. They tend to do a lot of letting other people do streams.
Yes,
on their channel.
but again, that's different. That's them endorsing the people to raise money, however they choose to, which is different from the company themselves streaming other people's games, which, like I say, Rebellion has.
Yeah.
So,
but the other big crossover that's happened now twice in the same game is Final Fantasy XIV with Monster Hunter, these have been. Yeah, don't worry about it. All you need to know is that they're permanent fixtures in both games, and it's basically a boss crossing over from one game to the other, alongside like collectibles for each side, but they're like proper collectibles, and both of those like permanent editions.
I would like to, by the way, put a bet on the new Virtua Fighter gets Akuma.
That's a pretty safe bet, considering Akuma's already been in Tekken.
Akuma's thing is going to be all these other bloody things, right?
Yeah.
Has Akuma gone to Virtua Fighter yet? I don't think they have.
I don't think Virtua Fighter has ever had any guest characters yet. Not unless you're counting Megamix, but I'm not in this case.
No one counts Megamix unless no one counts Megamix unless they go, oh look, by association, Honey the Cat, or alternatively, look, it's the Hornet, and that's the only thing anyone remembers.
True.
That's the only thing anyone remembers about them. But I want to say, I think it's, given the state of the relationship between Sega and Capcom, I think Sega would and bearing in mind, obviously, that the other Street Fighter characters seem to be appearing anywhere now.
True. I think that's more of a big thing with the fighting game community as a whole at the moment. The fact that
I did not expect, Chun-Li and co to suddenly start rocking up in King of Fighters.
After I kind of did after some of the other stuff they'd done.
I mean,
I was expecting
it makes
Ken,
sense.
definitely.
I like the idea of. I love the idea of it, and I love the designs that they got for them in that style. I thought they were great.
One thing I really love is the fact because obviously you had Terry and Mai in Street Fighter.
Yes. No, you didn't. Oh yeah. Sorry. I thought you said Smash for a minute. I was going to buy Street Fighter. No, you didn't have it.
No, Mai
remember, you don't. No. Smash is for good little boys and girls, and the lady with the big tits is sin incarnate.
But the thing is, a lot of the crossover fighters. Okay, yes, Tekken got Akuma, but that kind of made sense for Tekken. But the kind of Ken makes sense because Ken and Terry have traditionally had and
Capcom Tekken got
SNK.
that, but also from in the same terms of crossing around, they also got Geese Howard from.
That's true. Yes.
So they've crossed over in that realm.
I'm expecting them to cross over again, by the way. But
so do I.
I was surprised they chose Ken and Chun-Li. Chun-Li, fairly obvious, quite a deep rivalry with Mai. But it's like, hang on, where's Ryu? Because Ryu's the one they almost always use for these. And so it was really nice that he wasn't in that.
Yeah, but I would say that having Terry and Ken go against each other, and didn't we have that? Wasn't it like an anime trailer or something about that?
I think it was either an anime trailer or something to do because I think they've traditionally had a bit of a rivalry because obviously there's been Capcom versus SNK.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah,
I think knowing both those games, even if you didn't know they had met at any given point in time.
Yeah,
if you were like, who would be the character that would go against Terry, you would say Ken.
Yeah,
just from a personality point of view, because they're both kind of a bit brash, a little bit cocky. Although I don't know what the state of play is with current Ken, because we basically had broken Ken, haven't we? At the moment.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because going back to Tekken, like the last two Tekken games have had Final Fantasy representatives in them for weird reasons. Like these guys don't really. Well, I say they don't fit. Then you've got Kazuya, who just transforms into a devil. So. Who knows these days? But
it's all fine.
But was it the previous Tekken had a Walking Dead character in there? I think as a guest character as well.
Negan.
Yeah.
That was the one that everyone was just like a bit confused by on the guest characters front. But
so Tekken's just announced their next season pass, and they revealed 3 out of 4 of the characters.
Okay, tell me that I genuinely don't know these. So
the next one is Kunimitsu. Who, fine. The one that's coming out then is Bob, who I think that's a good addition because Bob is quite popular.
Yeah, Bob's got fans.
Yes, for the right reasons as well. I would say
And I know from conversations I've had, some people like Bob for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, fair.
But hey, I think Bob's popular from a personality point of view as well as his
yeah, but I think it also works quite well. But yeah, Kunimitsu, sure, Kunimitsu generally tend to be one of the last ones added. The third character is Roger Jr., which, if you know who that is, that's their weird pick, really.
Roger Jr.,
which is fine. Yes.
Is that like the son of the bear or something?
No, that's the kangaroo.
Oh, it's the kangaroo, is it?
It's the kangaroo. So I think Roger Jr.
Are they actually Joey sized? Because that would be hilarious.
Yes, they're. That's so the thing is,
terrible. You're gonna have a Yoda in Soul Calibur 4 situation.
Oh no! Sorry. So the Joey is inside their mum's pouch, and the mum is the one copying the Joey's moves.
Oh, okay. So we've
it's
not
like
got, so we've not got that situation. What we have is a real steel situation.
Yeah, closer.
Which you won't get as a person that doesn't watch movies.
No, but I think I know what you mean.
But that's a real. If it's like I was like, hey, watch me copy the move situation. That is the ending of Real Steel, everybody.
But we don't know the fourth.
Really good film.
We don't know the fourth character, and the fourth character I suspect will be a guest
which means there's
character.
licensing going on and legal stuff.
Yeah, probably, but that one's also not to the end of the year as well.
Yeah,
so
they're also saving that then for a big announcement.
Yeah,
but yeah, the tournament probably.
The last season had Clive from Final Fantasy 16, aka Ben Starr.
You know who it needs to be? You know who it needs to be, everybody? It needs to be old Leon S. Kennedy. It needs to be.
See, I wouldn't put that past them.
Neither do I, but at the same time, old Leon S. Kennedy, everybody. Get your floof and look at the man's abs in for Leon S. Kennedy.
Right? I actually could see Leon Kennedy being better in Virtua Fighter because from what I know of Virtua Fighter, it's a far more realistic fighting sim rather than...
in terms of... Yeah, historically it's been about... Yeah. It's that... You know what they oddly need to do? They need to look at John Wick. Because part of John Wick's charm
I could see that being in Tekken as well.
I mean, in terms of the rules of the universe, in that John Wick is bound by the rules of reality, in the sense that guns have bullets in them. They've got a certain amount of bullets in them. You know, if you haven't got a weapon, you'd probably best get one as opposed to just magically get one. Oh shit, it's all a scramble. And I kind of like I kind of like that as an idea that they keep in mind for Virtua Fight. If you're in a fighting game and it's like, hey, you get knocked down, and it's like everyone's like, oh yes, yeah, I'll back roll away from my position on the floor. It's like, okay, what if you scrabble away? What if you like desperately throw yourself to the side to get yourself back in position or something like that? You know, moves have weight.
I think the thing with Virtua Fighter is, though, it needs to carve out its own niche because Street Fighter and Tekken and Street Fighter are fine. They're kind of the two big ones competing with each other. But from my point of view, it's like I don't know what the big difference between the two is personally, because I'm not a big fighting game fan.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got the new Marvel fighting game coming in, which is going to be more of this is meant for not serious fighters, kind of. It's more arcadey, more four player teams as well. So
indeed.
So I think Virtua Fighter going for that more realistic fighting would make sense to give it its own niche of this is why we play this game, which is why I'd be a bit hesitant with Akuma. Just because
I think Akuma would work.
I think you can make it work.
Narratively, you can make Akuma work. Because if you go in and he's like, oh yes, I have got the power of the dark Hado and whatever. If you come along and just go, but can you actually fight though? It's like
one.
If you like pull his punk card and like, yeah, you've got that, fantastic, but can you actually fight? Because we fight.
One of the funny crossovers with Akuma is in the latest Monster Hunter, you can meet Akuma and fight as him and just kill the monsters with your bare fists.
I mean, that's just casual trading for our boy.
Yeah.
For our boy. Can we also make sure that we actually have, not old arse Akuma that we've got at the moment for that?
No, I think it is the old arse Akuma.
Yeah, I know, but can we if we get him for that, if we get him for, can we not have old arse Akuma design? I really don't like it.
No, that's fair.
I know why they're doing it.
They'll want to push it.
I know why they're doing it because it's...
Well, it's the same with the weird, like, Shattered M. Bison design, isn't it?
Yeah.
They want to try and move on from those villains.
Versus...
But the problem is...
there's that versus the actual evolution of Ryu's design, which you mentioned. So... Anyway...
And Ken.
And Ken. Well, Ken's having his own story, like we say.
What was it? So someone, I remember someone complaining about how Chun-Li looked in the new game because she looks old. It's like, yeah, that's because she is old.
She is old now.
She's retired and in a training dojo. Yes, she can still kick ass.
Yes,
but that's why they've had to bring it.
You know how Ken's like had a baby in like.
Yeah,
Street Fighter 2. You know why? You know how it's Street Fighter 6 now, and it's like 20 years later.
So the problem is they're not in chronological order because I think Street Fighter 3 is
Alpha.
Yeah,
even the alphas are out of order, aren't they?
Yeah, it's such a mess.
It's such a mess. Anyway, the point is that there's a lot of time. His son's grown up. In fact, if we've not had it yet, probably next game you see. Young, his son probably makes a debut. Ken's son.
I thought he already did in one of the.
Has he? Games. I mean, as an actual fighter, though.
Yeah, I think so.
Has he? Oh God.
In one of the ones
now he can come along like all twisted and bent up inside because moody teen. I'm gonna beat your ass, father.
I'm pretty sure one of the Street Fighters originally didn't have Ken, Chun-Li, Ryu because they were all too old. It was a whole new cast.
No, you're getting confused with the Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur makes no sense in anything. The only characters that make sense in that are Volo and
Cervantes. Cervantes is the other one.
Cervantes, yeah.
Yeah. Cervantes
well, no, Volo makes sense as well because Volo's just a mummy.
No, Volo doesn't. Volo makes no sense whatsoever. But
and at the same time makes far more sense than Ivy.
Yeah. Hey. Don't start pulling on that thread because Ivy's costume will fall apart. So
that's my point.
That's your point.
Anyway, and casually we'll just get Yoda, Darth Vader, 2B, and
I'm the apprentice. Star Killer.
Oh dear.
We are soon to be joined by another Urtheart, who is slightly older and more innocent.
Wait, no, surely he's younger if it's in the past.
This is you. I'm reasonably certain you're Benjamin Buttoning this at this point.
I have no idea anymore.
Who knows? Anyway, the guys are going to be talking about soundtracks, their favourite soundtracks, the top 5 soundtracks across video games.
We have left.
If you missed last week's show, tune into the bottom half of that because there's stuff that you should be paying attention to. But you can start stuff there. But this is going to come on for a number of weeks actually. So check out that. But I leave it now to the other Urtheart. I hope he hasn't got buttons sewn into his eyes.
Not yet. Welcome, music lovers all, to this episode, and a very special LMC episode, because while I am Urtheart, I am the only LMC member today, well, LMC staff member, I guess, because I have 2 guests from the beautiful RadioSEGA. We have the victorious Viper.
victorious somewhat, but not in the last LMC quiz, that's for sure.
Well, that's true, but yeah, no, you got another year to make up for that.
Exactly, I got a year's worth of studying hard, I'm sure.
And we also have the stupendous Skyblaze.
Hello. Thank you very much for the compliment.
That's all right, and I think you both deserve it, because I kind of brought you two on as the experts, because, well, you're the DJs. I have some music ability, supposedly, according to my degree. Well, not degree, my qualifications. There we go. Don't ask. But yes, as you may have guessed, we are talking about music today, and very specifically, I've brought these two on to discuss our favourite video game soundtracks of all time. And yeah, I mean, there was a lot to choose from. I've been working on my list for a while. How easy did you two find your list?
Difficult. Very difficult.
Yep.
Yeah. I did set us a few rules that may have made it a bit easier. Like, for me, it cut out, about 40 different games from one franchise. So the rules were the normal rules: no games you worked on, which I think only applies to me in this case. One game per franchise. And I didn't particularly give you hard cast rules on what to consider a franchise because I trusted you both, but this was just so we had some variety in there. Because, otherwise it could have been 5 Sonic soundtracks, which, to be quite frank, I might do at a later date. But we're going to go in a bit of an order. I think we've decided beforehand, so we'll just run through. I'm going to go first, then Viper, then Skyblaze, and we'll keep going, and we'll go from our number 5s to our number 1. So is everyone ready?
Let's do it.
Yep.
Cool. Well, to start off, I'm going to go with one that is quite renowned for its music, and also one of its tracks being one of those ones that you can put to anything, especially any other game made by this developer. It is a Platinum Games soundtrack. Any ideas?
No, actually.
'Cause that could be a few of them, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's anything like what I said, then Bayonetta, maybe?
No. So I will admit, originally when I was toying with more rules, I did at one point maybe have a rule of one soundtrack per publisher. But I thought that was a bit too strict. But I have somehow done that anyway. But my Sega one's coming later. This is my Konami one.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Metal
they
Gear
made that.
Rising. Honestly, a load of people love the music. And, I mean, the general soundtrack is very good. It's got some nice kind of hard electric guitar pieces for your general battling. But the highlight, as with a few other games that may be people's favourite, is the boss battles. Because that music is amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the soundtrack even is really... If you buy the official soundtrack, it gives you the vocal versions and the non-vocal versions.
Perfect.
Yeah. Just in case you want to do karaoke. But even in the game, while you're fighting the bosses, it will start with just the basic melody. And things will start coming in as you either do better or you start parrying and countering. And by the end of it, you've got everything, blasting full sound. Yeah, this soundtrack's a delight. All the way from the one that everyone knows, Rules of Nature, which is your first boss battle, which, your first boss battle was Metal Gear Ray. If that's your first boss battle, things can only go up from there, right? The best part is, though, is a lot of people go into that one and just start hacking and slashing. If you know what you're doing, you can literally parry everything the boss does, and it looks really, really good.
That's Platinum's hallmark. It's awesome when you can just pull off anything like that, any sort of technical ability, I guess, and especially having a good soundtrack to pair with that is that's bliss.
The funniest thing is someone who did a Let's Play of both Metal Gear Rising and the Wonderful 101 put Rules of Nature to the first boss of Wonderful 101, and it fits 1-to-1.
Damn.
Which maybe suggests they're running out of ideas sometimes, but yeah. But my favourite track actually has to be one of the final ones, which has had a recent resurgency via memes, which is Has to Be This Way.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest, they're all classics. I actually happily just listen to the entire soundtrack. I'd say there's one, the only one I'm not as fond of is Monsoon's track, but I'd still happily listen to it. It's just the weakest one. A Stranger I Remain is also a really nice contrast one, because I think it's the only one with a female voice in it. For the female boss character, so it makes sense. But yeah, it's a pleasure to listen to this one, and one of the big selection for all my soundtracks is there had to be at least one track that hasn't left my mobile phone playlist for since I've had it, and Metal Gear Rising has 3 tracks in that one, so and one of the instrumentals, just because yeah, I love it so much. My only disappointment with the soundtrack is there is actually one boss battle that's missing off it.
Oh.
Because it's the DLC exclusive boss for Blade Wolf. His final boss is unique, and so he gets his own track. But it's not in the original. It's not in the original soundtrack version.
Well, thank you, Game Reps, for that. I guess you got to come in clutch as per usual.
But yeah, Metal Gear Rising is very much... And to be honest, I think this is one of those soundtracks you could listen to without even knowing the game. It's just a good...
Hi there.
Certainly the vocal one.
I said hi there, that's me.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's nothing like this in the rest of the Metal Gear series. Sure, Snake Eater's great, but this is definitely my preferred soundtrack, and I actually think this is my favourite soundtrack for a Platinum game as well.
Yeah, I think it's like I'd say it's the most renowned one for sure as well, like the one I always hear the most, and yet for some reason I still didn't put 2 and 2 together when you asked us to guess. That's on me.
No, it's fair. To be fair, Bayonetta is one I also have at least 2 tracks on my playlist, although Fly Me to the Moon has come and gone on my preference, but the remix of Afterburner Infinite Climax,
Ooh, yeah.
I do love that one, but I don't know if I can listen to the entirety of the Bayonetta soundtrack, which I do own. I own a physical copy of. I don't own a physical copy of this soundtrack because it's really hard to get a hold of. So,
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, that is my number 5. I'm going from 5 to 1, mostly just by order of vague favourites. I like all of them. A lot of these have different stylings as well, which helps. But yeah, Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance, definitely. This one's easily available digitally. Definitely go get it. It's wonderful. We'll probably play you a sample after this because, hey, we're on a radio show.
We got plenty of time to kill.
All right, Viper, what's your number 5?
Sure. So unlike you, where I've seen the plans and you spent years meticulously crafting your list, I went on gut entirely because I'm the sort of person where I would absolutely overthink it and like over mull on it, and in the process go, oh, I forgot like these 10 games I liked anyway to even shortlist them. So in the end, I just went, think of the first 5 that you love that come to your gut. I can tell you like my favourite instantly, and I can tell you a couple others, but there's like a couple here. It's like, yeah, I think this is like really good, but I could also see this getting leapfrogged by other things I've already heard or other things in the future, that kind of thing. So I'd say mine up to the top isn't hugely definitive, but it's like an indication of how I was feeling when I wrote it. So
that's fair.
Keep that in mind. You might hear another show where I go, this doesn't even make the list or whatever, but In at number 5, I went with Mega Man 1, and I think that's a little bit of a controversial one, personally, because 2 and, well, to a lesser extent 3, 4, and 5 as well are really, like, well-beloved as chiptune NES soundtracks, and as, like, overall gaming soundtracks, they often come up in the conversation, and all you have to do is look at OC Remix to kind of prove not only the point that they're really influential, but also significantly more popular than Mega Man 1. But despite that, for me, there's an inherent simplicity to what comes with these tracks, and like the settings they use in as well, because the game itself is much more simple than its everything that comes after it. So
it has 2 less Robot Masters than all the rest, doesn't it?
And that too as well, and like even a lot of the basic music loops are really short outside of the Robot Masters, so you'd think on paper it's a way less impressive soundtrack and I should be more impartial to everything that came later, but they don't even register on the same scale as me, because the like magnitude of the compositions actually included within the levels are so much bigger than many other Mega Man games, I feel like, in terms of staying power to me personally. And I think I couldn't name you any of the random... I couldn't hum you any of the random themes from later games, but every single thing here from beginning to end I could probably have like a good guess at, despite not being that hot on the game itself. So I don't know, it's tough to put way too many words into this one, but easily one of my favourite 8-bit soundtracks and chiptune soundtracks in general. I feel like every time they've tried to come back to it, it loses something from a lot of it's so based around the hardware constraints of the NES chip, and although there's been a lot of good attempts to remix it in future compilations and future re-releases of the game and all that, they never quite match the feeling and the quaintness that comes out of the NES, because it matches the game itself in that way as well, that it was just a small project, not really designed to go anywhere and that sort of thing, and then ended up blowing up, and in turn you got these behemoth 2 or 3 minute tracks, which is pretty long for an NES game, coming into the future sequels, whereas here you've got much simpler compositions, but because of that they have that staying power to me almost. So
I feel like though they're also some of the most iconic, because
yeah,
certainly while I know I've mostly heard the Mega Man tracks through remixes, but definitely major themes, obviously they reuse a lot of them in later ones. I'm pretty sure Proto Man's theme is the same throughout most of them.
Yeah. But it's... I can't quantify it exactly, I'd guess, in terms of... I can say why it's my favourite to me, in terms of all of that stuff, but I do think it's... I understand where other people are coming from also in preferring later entries, and actually that goes for more than just the music and stuff, but like you say, there is also an iconicness to these tracks that I think makes them stand out and weather the test of time a bit better, and even the Robot Masters they're associated with. I mean, there's a reason everyone knows the base 6 just from design alone, but could you name anyone else aside from could you name anyone from Mega Man 6 off the top of your head, unless you're a big fan of the games? But you look at this and you look at their themes, and it's oh, this instantly comes to mind. There's something about, as I say, it's the way it keeps it simple to me, both in terms of game design and as a soundtrack, that actually makes it stand out to me when I go back and what's my favourite NES soundtrack or whatever, for example. This one always pops into my mind. So yeah, it came to mind pretty quickly when I was thinking of, I should probably get some chiptune in here, or some proper chiptune anyway, because it's the sort of thing I tend to listen to on my own time, and yet despite that, a lot of it's from stuff that I wouldn't, as an entire soundtrack, class as my favourite. I have favourites from that soundtrack or things like that, but I wouldn't call the entire thing.
So part of the problem with the chiptune era, the kind of 8-bit era in particular, is that memory sizes were so constrained that you don't really get a full soundtrack as such. You get a couple of songs.
Yeah.
Or it's hard to short riffs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to kind of say, this is a great soundtrack based on the fact that there's 2 great songs in it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it got a bit better the next generation as well, with 16-bit, and even to a lesser extent in the later days of well, more so NES when you had stuff like mappers. I mean, Master System stayed pretty simple the entire way through, and well, I'm sure with some of the home computers, once they got the minor upgrades, they got a bit better. But certainly in the case of
the Commodore and such may have struggled a little bit with the music.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not the C64, but like other contemporaries definitely never quite got like enhanced sound capabilities. And well, on the Famicom side, you flat out got that through the enhancement chips that companies would put in. But even over in like the US and Europe and anywhere else that was barred from having those add-on chips, even just the increase in memory size just was such a step up. And this game still manages, even in spite of being a pretty small NES game from what I remember, to stick with you in terms of its melodies, because it's 86 or something, isn't it? And
I believe
compare it to say like Mario Bros. The year before, which has 3 themes pretty much, and the castle theme's a really short loop, and it's really about it in terms of the main level themes, whereas every single level here has its own unique theme that lost ages. And the way they cut around that is obviously make random things, like the character select screen's about 3 seconds long, just plays over and over again. So they did have to cut some corners, but it's impressive how much of a good soundtrack they crammed into such a small space. So I think it's a lot of factors like that, external factors as well, that lead to me enjoying, especially some of the earlier soundtracks in games as well, is the technical prowess as much as the musical capability, I guess. So Mega Man excels in all departments for me based on that. So yeah, I think I've rambled about it for long enough, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a good choice. I'm not a massive fan of those early Mega Man games. I've actually never played, or at least never seriously played Mega Man, the original Mega Man series. I played a bit of X, but yeah, the original one was never one to appeal to me. But it's got plenty of fans, and I'm sure this is the thing. That first game would have set the precedence for future games in terms of music as well, and there's still themes that lasted throughout the entirety of it, like when the level select going from the level select to the level had a very similar theme throughout the whole time, I think.
Yeah, the famous jingle even like survived into X a little bit, I think, into that series and beyond. I don't know too much outside of like the classic platformers kind of side of Mega Man, but just such simple compositions as well, like your sound effects and stuff like that, pretty much got right from the offset. So a lot of games can't say that they had to go back and like maybe the iconic stuff started in the second or third game or anything like that, but they got it immediately right off the bat. So it's always something to be commended, to me at least.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's about me for my number 5 anyway.
Cool. Skyblaze, your number 5, please.
Shuriken on the Amiga. All hail Chris Hulsbeck.
Yes.
Well, I had to have some chiptune in here. Come on, it's me. But yeah, if we're talking about like very early games that actually had a soundtrack as opposed to the aforementioned just like a few songs, Turrican is a really good example of this. It had pretty much a full soundtrack. The level themes were all different. It had an ending theme. It was actually quite long. I think that's like nearly 5 minutes long. No, I've checked, it's over 5 minutes long.
Oh, wow. And that's without loops? Or is it also with a...
I think there's... So, because it's Hulsbeck and he does that sort of thing. He's a madman. But yeah, it's a great soundtrack. It makes great use of the sound hardware in the Amiga. There's a reason why everyone kind of like, does We're Not Worthy to Hulsbeck whenever he turns up at demo events and stuff, which he still does apparently. He just rocks up like, hello, yes, I am Chris Hulsbeck. It's like, yeah, apparently if there's a demo event or a chiptune event in Germany, he will just turn up. It's like, hi!
What a legend.
And then everyone bows.
Yes. Okay, the thing that kind of like really made me think, okay, this is the one. This is the one I'm going to pick, is that part of this Turrican soundtrack was rearranged for a philharmonic orchestra, and has been performed on at least 2 different occasions as part of concerts. So, Royal Stockholm Philharmonic Orchestra have performed it, apparently.
I mean, this is the thing. There's a lot of games that should get the Philharmonic treatment that sadly haven't, but
yeah,
glad to see some of them do.
Oh, yes. And apparently it was... So the event took place on 4th of August 2009 and combined performances of Hulsbeck's Symphonic Shades rearrangement with excerpts of Dramatica by Yoko Shinomura.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Has anyone got a time travel device handy? I need to go to 2009.
Not that goes backwards, only forwards.
Damn. But yes, that is my pick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. This is without even mentioning the Commodore 64 version, which nicked off with parts of Transformers the movie.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Commodore 64 version, which I don't think is Hulsbeck, it's somebody else. Yeah, Subsong 2 from the Commodore 64 version of Turrican is basically a chiptune version of Escape from Transformers the movie. And the ending theme from that version is based on the death of Optimus Prime. It is absolutely hilarious.
To be fair, it's not the first game that did that. Like, a lot of Doom's soundtrack is taken from a lot of different places, let's say.
Well, if you fancy a really good laugh, listen to the theme from Blake 7 with the theme from Space Harrier.
Oh dear.
Da 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 da. It's like, is that Blake 7 or Space Harrier? Who knows?
It's a 50-50.
Yeah. No, I think that will be a LMC approved choice though for a soundtrack, knowing knowing the boss man.
That's the one we're advertising with.
If you need a copy of that, by the way, Earth, I've got.
Oh, I'm going to be asking
many.
I'm going to be asking you both for like at least you pick one track to go in, and maybe give me a copy if I don't have it or can't get a download for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm one of these people that I will buy the soundtrack if I can get it, but one on my list is not available for purchase, so those I have to go through different methods of getting, maybe.
Yeah, I think one of them in my case, you're gonna have to rely on me because they're never gonna re-release that thing.
Is there an official release of the original Mega Man soundtrack?
Yes, I think it's on. I know it's certainly on like Spotify and things, but I'm pretty sure of all places you can buy it through Steam. So
yeah, that's a fair point.
Chris Hulsbeck actually put out a remastered version of his Turrican soundtracks on his own website.
Oh, that's
in a helpful
awesome.
sort of fashion. It's like, thanks, Chris. That's great.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Grant Kirkhope put out Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack, which I think he called The Kitchen Sink and Everything Else. Which literally contains every SFX he made for the game as well.
And didn't that also get taken down at some point? I seem to
Not
recall.
before I got to purchase it and download it.
Lovely.
Mainly because I wanted the Grunty Funhouse remixes.
Ah, yes.
Sadly, that is not on my list. So instead, I'm going to go to my number 4. which is not exactly a crossover, but the franchise has already been mentioned already.
Good start.
However, as I said, I didn't even start playing with the X series. I started with the Game Boy Advance series, known as Zero.
Huh. Oh, wait, yeah. I'm thinking of the wrong game.
I later went back to X and I played X1. Yeah, it's alright. But my favourite series is the Mega Man Zero series. And out of the 4 soundtracks, my favourite is Mega Man Zero 3, Telos. Now, I will say, even before you get to the music, I advise you to look up the cover for the soundtrack, because it is amazing, if not slightly spoilery, for the game itself. But
gonna do this live.
Yeah, if you want to look it up live. But for me, so this is again one of the soundtracks I own physically. I actually own.
Oh, that's incredible. Sorry.
Yeah. I own all of the Mega Man Zero soundtrack physically. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the final remix album. I think I also own ZX and ZX Advent as well. But yeah, 3 for me has my favourite tracks. I think it's the best overall soundtrack. Highlight for me is definitely the final boss theme, Cannonball, which has had so many good remixes over the years. But I really love the kind of subtlety in the original version, because it adds like little piano bits in it. Admittedly, this is in the soundtrack version, because the original one on the Game Boy Advance, there's a few limitations. So, but even then, it sounds wonderful on the Game Boy Advance version. From the opening theme, the thing I liked about the Zero series over the X series is it did a lot of storytelling, but it didn't just do it through cutscenes or anything. It did it through, like, the music would give you an idea of, like, is this a dangerous place? Is this a somber place? And, it would kind of almost warn you of what was coming ahead. But yeah, this is by far, like, I think the Game Boy Advance had a lot of really good music for it that gets a little bit understated.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, that 100 times over.
Even, so I mean, obviously this is my Capcom pick, but even if we go back to Sega, I love the Advance series soundtracks. There's a lot of good picks in all of them. I'm trying to think. Wario Land 4 had such a weird soundtrack, but I love it still. Yeah, the Game Boy Advance could do a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people just didn't realize it could do. And yeah, this by far was one of my favorite soundtracks. Again, to the point where I was like, I found out there was like a high quality version. I was like, I must have it. Fun fact, I think not all of them, but some of the soundtracks also have audio drama versions of the cutscenes.
Oh, that's amazing.
In Japanese, so
yeah.
I can't understand most of it, but certainly in the 4th soundtrack, I don't know how much I should say, because I don't want to necessarily spoil the story, because thankfully the games are available. And actually, I think the soundtrack might be available on Steam as well now, because they recently had the re-release of the...
I think they are.
The Zero, ZX, and Advent combo pack. I know they had, like, remix ones they did.
Yes, they're all individually available on Steam.
Yeah, so there you go.
$11.49 a pop, by the way. Thanks, Capcom.
I mean, to be fair, I think I paid more than that for the actual physical soundtracks.
Oh, at least you're getting the discs, though.
True. Oh, and loads of gorgeous artwork in them.
Yeah, Mega Man. Zero. I know ZX's soundtracks. I'm not too familiar with Zero's personally, but I know they also came with a load of goodies.
Yeah.
And
I think I got a mouse mat with one of them.
Oh, wow. That's great. Bring
Still
back
in his
goodies.
wrapper. But, yeah, I mean, if nothing else, genuinely go look up the cover for Mega Man Zero 3 Telos. It's
you won't
wonderful.
be disappointed.
No, it's great.
Also, one quick little thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were talking about it being on Steam and all platforms. maybe it might just be a ZX feature now that I'm thinking about it, or ZX, sorry. Is there not a way on the new collection to play it with the remastered soundtrack, I think? Is that not a toggle? Oh, that is a toggle.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, that sounded familiar to me. For reference, over Christmas I started 0-1 and haven't got back to it, so...
No, 0-1 is particularly brutal. This is probably one of the other things I liked about 3, is that the first 2 games require you to do a lot of grinding to get your abilities up, and 3 just goes, this isn't worth it. Look, here, start with your main combos already done. It's like, thank you. I must admit, though, I really like the Zero art style as well. Again, I own the art book for this one.
It's so good looking.
Oh, God, it is. A lot of people don't like the way Zero looks in this compared to the Mega Man X games. I'm the other way around. But then I don't have that nostalgia for X because I never had a SNES. So, sorry to all you SNES lovers out there.
No, don't be sorry.
But yeah, that's my number 4.
Good pick.
Honestly, I mean, Cannonball's definitely getting played. I've just got to decide whether I play the original one or the remix Mythos version. They did a 5th soundtrack called Mythos, which was like upscaled remixes of the best songs from all 4 games, which is still a fantastic soundtrack. Most people prefer the Mythos version of Cannonball. I like them both, but I have a slight tendency towards the original because I'm a bit of a... I love having multiple different types of instruments, not just, your standard rock group.
Yeah, that's a perfectly valid reason, I think.
Okay, that's the end of that show. Thank you very much indeed to Urtheart for arranging all of this recording, by the way, for the best soundtracks. Thank you, Urtheart.
You're welcome. It was a while back.
It was a little while back, but this is what you can expect now from Radio Redux, and that we'll have like these little mini series that go along as we do. But there's that to look forward to, and until next time, we will leave you with Sega Mixer Drive if you're listening in on Radio Sega, and to whatever follows, if there is anything. You know what also follows Sega Mixer Drive? Monday. Sega Mixer Drive is your last defense against Monday.
Where's the lasagna?
Where's the lasagna? Oh, there's been a lasagna overdose. Regret to inform. Rip Garfield.
Oh, no.
We'll see you soon, everybody. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
This was a Last Minute Continue production. For more, please check lastminutecontinue.com.